Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 12th June 2022. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. I am a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. This is my spiritual channel, and we have been making spiritual videos in this particular channel. For the past few videos, we have been discussing about genius and causal intelligence. In this video, before we keep or continue that discussion, let us have a recap of what all we have learnt on spiritualism as far as causal intelligence and genius are concerned in this video. First, the soul is enveloped by this material world with four layers of material body when the soul comes in touch with the material universe knowingly or unknowingly. These layers are as follows. The first layer, which is the most subtle, is called causal intelligence. The second layer, which envelops causal intelligence and soul, is called the astral mind. The third layer of etheric senses, which envelops the astral mind, the causal intelligence, and the soul together, is called etheric senses. And fourth, the gross body, which envelopes the etheric senses, the astral mind, the causal intelligence, and the soul, is called gross body. It is this gross body which makes a living human entity identifiable. That is, a living entity in this material universe is identified by his or her gross body only. This gross body is just an instrument for the subtle bodies and the soul to send their vibrations into this material universe. In other words, this gross body is a mere instrument or tool or outlet for the vibrations of the subtle bodies and the soul. Please remember that this gross body has a hard disk which is called the brain in its gross body. This brain gets the vibrations from the subtle bodies and the soul, and it transmits it into the other parts of the gross body. In other words, this hard disk of brain controls the gross body, and it is not the other way around. We must remember this for our future educational purposes. The brain controls the gross body, and the gross body does not control the brain. Though in some cases it looks like that, but it is not the fact. Whatever happens in the gross body is because of the brain or the hard disk which acted according to the vibrations of the etheric senses, the astral mind, the causal intelligence, and the soul. Now, genius possesses a person who is in the causal intelligence. What does this mean? The layer of causal intelligence is the most subtle and the first layer that envelops the soul and the super soul. Hence, it is more attuned to vibrations from the soul and not the astral mind or the etheric senses, which are more attuned to the material universe, and this gross body is just an instrument. Because the causal body is the most subtle and the closest to the soul, hence, anyone who is in the orbit of the causal intelligence will be able to control the astral mind, the etheric senses, and the gross body better. And that is precisely the reason why genius possesses a person who is in the orbit of causal intelligence. One has to remember that whereas every living human entity is born with some talent or the other, that is, every living entity possesses some talent or the other, the genius possesses the living entity. In other words, while the talent of a particular person is in the control of the living entity, that living entity is in the control of the genius. Genius is a very, very powerful mistress. What is genius? Genius is a perfect combination and permutation of various factors like the karma and the destiny of the particular living entity, along with his or her intelligence, talent, timing, ego, etc. When everything falls in place, a person is possessed by genius for a particular moment. How long depends indirectly or directly on the particular living entity. Genius is a very, very powerful force, and hence it is said that it is very possessive. If the living entity acts according to his or her genius, the genius will continue to possess that person. However, if because of that genius this person is not able to digest the success, popularity, fame, or wealth that he or she derived from that genius, then the genius will slowly leave that person. A person who is in the orbit of causal intelligence may go further towards the soul and then to become a part and parcel of the super soul. But he or she should never ever go down, fall towards the orbit of astral intelligence and etheric senses. Demotion of character is not preferable. Only promotion is preferable. A person who is in the orbit of etheric senses can go towards astral mind or causal intelligence or soul, etc. A person who is in the astral orbit can go toward the causal intelligence, the soul and the super soul, etc. The person who is in the orbit of causal intelligence can go towards the soul or the super soul. A person in the causal intelligence who is still now materialistic in his or her outlook may become spiritual by going towards the soul and the super soul. But demotion is not allowed. In other words, causal to astral mind or etheric senses or astral mind to etheric senses, etc., are not at all preferable. One must remember this to ensure that genius sooner or later possesses this person. Kindly subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that I can keep reminding you of my other videos. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.